Well, thank you very much, Erik. You know, one of the challenges we have to get through is our mindset. Our mindset is what helps us generate more business. It's also what stops us from doing business. It's also what makes us feel down. It's also what makes us feel up. And if your mindset is in the right track, it doesn't matter how good you are as an originator, you're not going to be at your best. And that's what happens to most originators. See, most of us have limiting beliefs. It's beliefs that limit us from going to the next level. And when you look at the word belief, right smack in the middle, it says lie. Most beliefs are lies, but the definition of belief is something you're certain about. So for you to change, if you're not getting the results that you really want, for you to change, you have to know with incredible certainty that you might be doing something that's not working. So to do that, you have to open up your mind from the past where there were things that you believed in, and you found out that they were not true. For example, a long time ago, they used to tell us that Pluto was considered a planet. Well, we know a few years ago they told us Pluto is no longer considered a planet. So that opens up the mind where you know right now that there's beliefs inside you that might not be true, and you have to be open to changing them. But to get to the level of understanding mindset, you got to understand the psychology of people. Most people are not happy to see you happy. And many people go, no, Sam, I'm happy to see everybody happy. Not true. When something's wrong in your life, when something's challenging in your life, you'll have more people come up to you and say, hey, let's go out for a drink, or hey, let's go out, have some dinner. Let's talk about it. And what they found is when people listen to your problems, they're actually feeling better about themselves. They're actually saying to themselves, thank God my life is not screwed up as hers. Tell me more. You actually feel much better. So they took the study even further. They wanted to find out is why do people go to funerals when they haven't seen the person for 10 years? Because if you truly cared for the person, you would have met them during the 10 years. Well, what they found is when people go to funerals, they're actually cherishing the life that they have. They're grateful for the family. They're actually thinking about themselves, not the person who just passed away. It tells you that most people have one interest, and that interest is themselves. And if I walked into your office every single day, and I walked in and I said, yes, today's going to be an amazing day. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to kick some butt. Let's prospect. What would most of you think? Most of you would think this guy's crazy. What is he on? Because society's not set up that way. When someone's really too happy, we're like, why is he happy? When someone is really sad, we're like, hey, come on in. Let's talk about it so I can feel better about myself. See, pride and ego, definition of pride and ego, is a perception we create to feel better about ourselves. So if it's a perception, it's only in our own head. But it's really interesting if you take it down to, as you see people watch the NFL. Right? Many of you have been watching the football games. You're like, people are like, yes, we did it, we won, woo-hoo! But my question always is, what did you win? Well, my team won. Great. The only people that made money were the players, the vendors, the TV stations, the advertisers. What did you win? And it's amazing to me that if people would have that same passion that they have for their NFL team, if they have that same passion in their own life, in their own business, what would their life be? What would their business be? It's because all our lives we search for happiness. We search for significance. And we search for significance and happiness in others. Meaning that, people always go, well, in relationships, I'm looking for true love. But it's really interesting because true love definition is unconditional love. There is no husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend relationship that's unconditional. It's love with conditions. But the one person that, true love is like Mother Teresa having, giving a child a hug that has a contagious disease. That's unconditional love. Or a parent with their kids. That's unconditional love. But the one person that we got to have unconditional love for is ourselves. But we don't do that because society thinks that you're full of yourself. But it's the most important factor when it comes to prospecting realtors is because you've got to have that inner confidence. And whether that inner confidence is an acting job or whether it's something that you truly believe and it has to come out, because if it comes out, people attract to you. Now, reality is all an illusion. And when I say that, is that your observation of reality is your perception. And when you get into the world of prospecting, is that like actors, great actors will go ahead and become the part. And people are, well, how does that become reality? I can't make that reality. Well, think of it when you have a bad dream and you wake up, you're sweating, your heart's beating really fast. It's because your brain couldn't tell the difference that that was just a dream and it wasn't really, you weren't about to fall off the cliff. It was just an illusion. It cannot tell the difference. Same thing when you're practicing to do these prospecting calls. See, when I started doing prospecting calls, when I got in this industry a long time ago, I started doing prospecting calls. I've done so many prospecting calls, I already know that the 5 to 9 objections that I'm going to get 90% of the time. And as long as I'm prepared of handling those objections, it all becomes a game. As a speaker, and we're going way back in the days, you know, a lot of these mortgage originator events that used to happen all over, is, you know, I thought to myself, wouldn't it be great if I can prospect live while I have an audience watching me in any city that I do a seminar in? I prospect the realtors in that city and set up appointments. And if I can do it live, I know that most speakers cannot do it live. Most speakers can tell you, here's the 10 steps to sales, which is great, but you tell them to go prospect live, they're not going to make any appointments. Because many people have done a lot of business in this industry different ways. Some people have done a lot of business because they had a large database, they mined it really well. Some people, you know, have great numbers that they show because they were district managers and they took like, you know, 10 branches and basically that was their volume. Everyone has done it a little bit differently on how they've done a lot of production. So as you look at yourself, if you're not happy where your results are right now, if you're thinking, hey, you know what, Sam, I should be doing a lot more. Some of you might be in a place where you're only doing 1 deal. Some of you might be in a place where you're doing 15 deals. And what I find is the guys that are doing a lot of production right now, they don't focus that much on prospecting because like Sam, I'm already getting the business. But for you guys, it's even more important to prospect every single day. So let's start with the easiest way to start getting into the mode of where you can prospect consistently. And there's few steps that we want to create for change, and we have to really understand is that doing things consistently is where you're going to make all the money. So the easiest way to start is hot and cold prospecting, but hot prospecting is going to be the easiest way. So first step is become comfortable being uncomfortable. Okay, and I always tell people with that. If you know, my first presentation that I gave, and I still remember, it was at Prudential office in Bellflower. First presentation, I froze. And I was on stage, I was going to be talking about this first-time buyer program, and I couldn't say another word. I started sweating, I see people, the agents looking at me, and I just froze. So it was very uncomfortable, but I had another one scheduled, and I had another one scheduled. So eventually, I've done so many, I become more comfortable on stage. So when you become comfortable being uncomfortable, you also become comfortable of the unknown factor that might take place. You know, I was doing an event a couple years back, and many people know speaker Deepak Chopra, a few other big events. It was loan officers up in Canada, in Vancouver, and none of the PowerPoint worked. The video didn't work, so I had to go on stage and just basically do an hour presentation without any slides, without anything. Well, when you practice and when you're okay with being comfortable with being uncomfortable, you tend to do really well in those situations. So focus on getting your listing agents on your deals. So we're going to start. I don't care if you're doing a lot of business or you're doing no business. This is the easiest way to prospect realtors and get those one-on-one appointments, because the whole objective is the appointment. And the reason the objective is the appointment is because most people that will use you, most realtors that will use you consistently need a face-to-face meeting to do that. And many loan officers make a big mistake where they're trying to sell their whole company over the phone, and they wonder why they never get called back, or they're like, hey, I did a decent job. How come I'm not getting anybody to call me back? So listing agents, you need to make a list of all the listing agents. And it's even easier if you have deals right now in process that you just opened up. You need to call the listing agents up. And the conversation is very simple. Hey, John, this is Sam from so-and-so mortgage company. The reason for my call is I'm looking forward to working with you on this transaction. But if I close this transaction before the contract date, can I meet with you for 10 minutes to see if I could be a good fit for your business? That's it. They're like, wow, that's like really simple, Sam. No, most people don't do it. They will call the listing agent up. They'll tell them, hey, here's all my numbers. If you need any help on status, call me. But they won't go as far as telling them, if I do a great job, if I close this before the contract date, can you commit a meeting with me for 10 minutes? See, if you do that at the beginning of your transaction, most agents will say, of course, you close it before contract date, I'll give you 10 minutes. Bam, you prospected a real estate agent. But it's too simple. Sam, I need this like 30-step marketing strategy. I'm going to send like 10 mailers, and then I'm going to follow up with a phone call. Great. You can do all that stuff, and it might even work for you. But it's a lot easier than that. It doesn't need to be complicated. See, your percentage rate of getting those listing agents to meet with you, and granted, if you want to do your research, for some of you that do a lot of business, you're like, yeah, I don't want to waste my time with someone who doesn't do that much business. You can go ahead and do your research, but you can focus on the people that you want to contact. But that's the easiest thing that everybody can do right now to get that appointment. So when you get into the side of the listing agent, many people always come back and say, Sam, well, the reason I don't go after the listing agents is because they're not buyer's agents. But that's where you're wrong. That's where most of them are wrong. Because those listing agents control the inventory. And those inventory, if you control the inventory and you get those listing agents, you become the preferred lender. If you become the preferred lender on those accounts, you have a better opportunity of getting those deals. So you can still do tremendous amounts of business. Now, the other side of it is when you're calling cold marketing, cold agents. And today, obviously, I don't have all the time to get into every single detail, every single language pattern, every single objection pattern. But what I do want to get into is the part of what is the basics of calling a realtor that you've never met, that you have no clue on. All you know is, hey, this realtor does really well, and I want to set up a 10-minute appointment with this realtor. So a simple call goes like this. And this is something that I've done almost in 26 different cities, and I've been in with the top realtors to set up appointments and been very successful at it. Ring, ring, ring. Hi, this is John from so-and-so, Century 21. Hey, John, this is Sam from so-and-so mortgage company. The reason for my call is because I made a decision this year that I want to align myself with some of the best agents. I wanted to meet with you for 10 minutes to see if I could be a good fit for you. What day are you open? That's it. That's all you have to say as we talk about prospecting. Now, of course, there's more advanced techniques. You know, even without thinking, John, you know that I'll be a good fit. What day are you open? Okay? You unconsciously get excited when we meet next week. Are you ready for it? So different language patterns we can keep adding and do subliminal persuasive linguistics. People go, well, what's subliminal persuasive linguistics? It's like, for example, John, if you're beginning to hesitate about meeting with me next week, just remember that most people hesitate before they make the right decision. What day are you open? So when you get comfortable with language patterns, this is something that, you know, I'm doing a really big event on prospecting school and setting up a business plan for 2015 in December in Las Vegas. That's our focus, is really making you understand some of these language patterns that you can apply to your business, and you can see how well they work. So the stuff that I talk about is not stuff that, hey, here's 10 steps to sales. I'll do it live so you can actually see it in action. So when you go into the level of prospecting, if you can make that simple call to go ahead and set up that appointment, then the only thing you have to deal with is what the objection is going to be. And when you deal with what the objection is going to be, then you can go ahead and say, okay, well, let me get comfortable with these 5 to 6 objections that I'm going to get 90% of the time. Let's move on. Okay, so let's see. This is what we need to do to start prospecting time. Get a list of realtors that you're going to contact. Not the day of. See, most people go the day of, they're like, Sam, I've been trying to work on right now. Yeah, I scheduled my prospecting from 9 to 11. I'm working on getting my list together. No. The list needs to be ready the day before. So the day before, you should have a list of all the realtors that you're going to contact. Okay? Next thing, have a headset on. Okay? I don't care what kind of headset you have. I need you to have a headset on. Why? Because I need you to be free. Because what happens is there's a lot of nervous energy, especially for most of us that are on this call that really don't prospect. It's kind of like you're sweating, you're scared, and it's okay. A little bit of butterflies is normal, but the reason you're scared and you're sweating is because you're attached to the outcome. And being attached to the outcome is a very dangerous thing. Because in this business, someone might not say yes, but it's not because you're bad or you're not good. It's just they're not ready for you yet. And your persistence is what could win them over. So have your headset on. You know, if you're able to walk a little bit, that's okay, because it kind of takes that nervous energy, takes away, and get in the zone. So get yourself in the zone, meaning that no incoming calls, okay, while you're prospecting. So if you said, hey, I'm prospecting from 9 to 10, 9 to 10, your receptionist should know in your office, do not send any calls my way, because it's only outgoing calls, because I don't want to do business reactively. I want to be proactive on my calls. So getting in the zone is an interesting thing. Many people go, Sam, you know, I wake up and I put CNN on. I go to bed, I put CNN on. Now you wonder why you're always negative, why there's always negativity in your life. So if you're getting in the zone, wake up every single morning, focus on what you're grateful for. Focus on what you're grateful for. Focus on the unconditional love you have for yourself. Okay, and then get yourself ready with affirmations. And, you know, affirmations are interesting. A lot of people go, Sam, you know, affirmations really don't work. Affirmations more about getting energy. I agree with a lot of affirmations. Like if you go home and say, you know, a lot of people go, well, Sam, The Secret, have you watched The Secret? The Secret's amazing. I've spoken with a lot of the speakers on The Secret. And many people go, Sam, you know, go home and say, I have no bills, I have no bills, I have no bills, I have no bills. I actually tried that. The bills never went away. They were still there. So the reality is that affirmations are more for energy. And affirmations should be something like, you know, it is my time, it is my time, it is my time. And all of a sudden you feel a little bit of energy, you feel like you're getting in the zone. So get yourself in the zone before you start your prospecting, because you know what's coming. And it's a game. It's a game because you have to be able to, I find it exciting because when I'm doing it live, it's amazing amounts of stress that you go through, because you don't know what that other person's going to come up with, even though you know that they're going to come up with the basic objection. But when people are watching you, half of them, since we talked about most people like drama, and they're attracted to drama, especially if drama is with somebody else, they're more attracted to it. So half the people in the audience are like, I hope Sam fails. I hope something happens to Sam where he gets rejected so bad we can all laugh at it. But half the people are excited. So you get yourself in that zone to go to prospect, and then you don't stop until you get to the last person on your list. And once you're done with that, you should have a certain amount of appointments. And some people are like, well, Sam, I've been trying to get appointments, but I'm not getting these appointments. But you should. And if you're not, what you should do is listen to yourself and see where it's going wrong. Where is that confidence not coming out? Okay, so the inner conflict that we experience is when our mind has a good and bad experience all coming into life. So when you're on a call and you're like, all of a sudden, you're like, oh my God, this is back then when this person, well, it went a little bit further. So this person rejected me, and I remember they hung up on me, oh, this is coming back. The other side of it could be, hey, but I got to keep going. Maybe I can change their mind, and maybe they'll meet with me. So that's the inner conflict that you experience. So there's two things that guide every human being, and that's fear and faith. And what fear and faith have in common is they're both imagination of what's going to happen tomorrow. The difference between fear and faith is that fear is a negative imagination of what's going to happen tomorrow. Faith is a positive imagination of what's going to happen tomorrow. So what we need to do is focus on faith, saying, hey, I can turn this thing around. Illusion of anxiety. Anxiety is fear of the future. Write this down as you guys listen to this call. Anxiety is, most types of anxiety is fear of the future. Okay? Most types of depression is from the past. where someone focuses on the past. And if you drive your car looking in the rearview mirror, you're going to keep crashing. So the power is in the now. The power is in the moment. Speak with authority. And what I mean by that is that realize, don't put anyone on a pedestal. When you put people on a pedestal, sometimes that creates that insecurity. They bleed like you bleed. They need your services because without your services, they don't get paid. And the most important that I talk all about is do not be attached to the outcome. If it doesn't work out with this person, move on to the next call. Move on to the next call. And if you can do that and not be personally attached to it and not be personally hurt by it, you're going to do a lot of business in this industry. Move on. So objections. So one of the things I want to do for everybody that is listening to this call is I want you to go ahead and email me, and I'm going to send you some scripts on how to handle different types of objections. And I have advanced scripts, which I've used a lot of NLP in, and I have some basic ones. I don't care which ones you use. As long as you're doing something, you're going to get a better result. So, you know, as customer rejections or objections happen, like I have a friend in the business, you seem like you're a little experienced, I'm happy with my lender, being able to resolve those, they're very important. Also, I want to be able to give you guys some patterns. And when you come to the Las Vegas event, I'm going to give everyone at that event 5 to 6 different language patterns that they can plug in any different words, and they can customize any way they want, be able to really work on that. And what you do is you take 3x5 business cards and practice them until you don't even have to think about it. Even without thinking, when we meet next week, you'll know that I'm the loan officer that you want to work with. Are you ready for it? See, without even thinking that you should be able to do this stuff like that. And that's called practicing, practicing, practicing. Okay? Let's continue on. Now, I want to open it up for questions in the group. And any questions, and just remember, email, you can go to LO Force, email me, and I'll go to send you those scripts for you. But any questions that you have about anything, please, let's open this up.
Well, Mr. Sam, all right, so there's a couple of great questions that have come through here already. I don't know if you can see this on your screen on the Q&A panel. If you want to open that up, you'll be able to see some of these questions. One of the first questions that came in is a couple of questions about how to build the list. Who do you put on your list? Who do you target, and why? Also, how do you maybe do a little bit of filtering and making sure you're not wasting time on, you know, part-time agents who only do one deal a year kind of thing? What are your recommendations in that respect?
Yeah, easiest way to get the list, depending where you're at in the country, towards the West Coast, you know, go to your title reps, and your title reps know who's doing business. They got a complete breakdown, and they can print that whole list out for you. You want to take an old school approach is that you can call real estate offices up, and you can kind of like ask them who their top listing agent is, top buyer's agent, and you can do it that way also. Another way that you can work on lists is if you do have escrow companies, and obviously that doesn't work the same for all part of the country, you can go and try to get a list from them. Anybody that uses realtors, those are people that can give you a list of who they are. Now, if you're doing no business, meaning that you're doing 1 to 2 deals and that's all you're doing, you really talk to anybody because you need to kind of build that energy. And maybe you meet somebody, an agent that doesn't do a lot of business, but they know people that do a lot of business, and you can get in. Me personally, I like to focus on the top 5 agents in the real estate office. Top 5 real estate agents do 95% of the business in most offices. My goal is to land one of the top 5. And the reason you want to land one of the top 5 is if you do an amazing job for that one of the top 5, then you can get rest of the office based on who that person is. Because a lot of the guys that are in the middle of the road look up to him or her, and they go, okay, since you work with him, you automatically got credibility. So you can work it a lot of different ways, but you need to find the people that work with the realtors that can help you get that list.
Absolutely. Yeah, Sam, as you're looking through some of the other questions, picking up the next one, I mean, one of the things we do in our coaching system here at Maximum Acceleration, which, by the way, many of you will tell you a little bit about at the end of the call, we're actually doing a program with Sam's new company, LOForce.com, that is actually a joint coaching program, not only combining the tools and resources of the Maximum Acceleration system, but also a lot of Sam's platform and background in the NLP and the psychology and scripts. But what Sam basically talked about is what we refer to as gateway contacts, people who are knowledgeable professionals in the industry, people who are likable and who you have a good potential to make a connection with. And it could be real estate attorneys, it could be titles, agents and closers at title companies, it could be mobile notaries, it could be home inspectors. Anybody in the community who works with realtors, ask them basically who they know that's a solid, ethical, hardworking, professional realtor who is looking to grow their business to the next level. Those personal recommendations can be a great way of creating additional contacts. Your past clients can also be a great resource from that perspective as well. Sam, do you see one of the other questions here that you want to jump on right away? Is there anything that hops out at you?
I can't see the questions, so.
Okay, if you open up your control panel and you hit the little plus sign beside the box that says questions, you'll be able to see the whole question list. But in the meantime, I'll continue to read them for you. Okay, so Cynthia Drotton asked the question, what is NLP and how does this benefit sales? I know that's a topic that's kind of near and dear to you, so I'll let you answer that one.
Yeah, NLP stands for neuro-linguistic programming, and many of you guys have been to Tony Robbins. You learn from a guy named Don Grinder and Dr. Richard Bandler. Was certified by Dr. Richard Bandler. Challenge with NLP is that there's so many different components to it. I don't think anyone's really customized it to where it's easy way to communicate into a conversation. And that's what I spent a lot of time doing was with the lending business. I customized it for loan officers. And it's not just NLP, it's conversational hypnosis and adding all those pieces together. But it's a way where you're building rapport with somebody on a subconscious level. Your conscious mind deals with 5 to 9 bits of information at a time. But most of the stuff that's happening around us is happening on our subconscious mind. So when people are in tune with people, that happens on a subconscious level, meaning that, for example, and everyone's heard of, matching, and you're in a conversation and someone's speaking really low and you start speaking really low. They have their arms crossed and you cross your arms also. Consciously, they have no clue what's happening. Subconsciously, they're like, I don't know what it is about Sam. I really like him. Well, it's a subconscious rapport that I built because the subconscious mind is like catching that he's like me. Because in sales, it's not about you. It's about the person in front of you. Can you get into their world? See, I believe that every single individual has their own world. So when you're trying to make a connection with somebody else, if you're speaking from your world, your point of view, you're not going to do so well when you're trying to build rapport with a particular person because you're trying to get business from them. Your objective is to get into their world. And the only way you can do that is once you take your ego away. And once you take your ego away, it's much easier to do that. Another question was on the email address. If you want to email me directly, I'm going to go ahead and give you this. So sam@changingyou.com. sam@changingyou.com. You guys can email me. So anyways, hopefully that would help out. You want to read out a couple more questions, Erik?
Yeah, certainly. I was just typing that into the chat, that email address. And keep in mind, folks, that we will be sending out a follow-up email with a link to the video, some of the tools and resources that we have at our disposal at Maximum Acceleration, as well as some of the scripts that Sam has mentioned. It'll be going out as soon as we can get the video rendered.
Erik, sorry to jump in.
Go ahead.
Never finished that lady's question. So what we've done is when you change the syntax of a sentence and you put certain words in a certain order, well, it becomes something that's really different to the mind. And it becomes a much more comfortable conversation when you have. Easily, when you start studying these scripts, you'll know how it will benefit you. Are you ready for it? Okay? So little things like that subconsciously make a big difference. And I'll get a little bit deeper on that. If you go to loforce.com, we get really deep into those subjects. Go ahead.
Yeah, definitely. And keep in mind, everybody, that we will be sending out a couple of the best scripts for the most common objections. Sam is going to forward them to me, and we'll be sending that out to you in the follow-up email that we'll be sending out by the end of the week. Okay, so a couple questions. What do we do at the appointment? And one of them is actually kind of uniquely phrased, Sam, is once we do get an appointment, what items should we talk about so as not to appear too pushy?
All right, so here we go. So let's get into a little bit more advanced stuff on appointment. Okay, so when you get to an appointment, you don't talk, you ask the questions. And your objective of asking questions is to find out what personality they belong. So for example, how long you've been in the real estate industry? And the person answers, maybe I've been in the industry 3 years and 2 months. What got you in the industry? Well, I was making about $35,400 a year. I wanted to make $100,000. I jumped in that industry. So now, right off the bat, there's 4 personalities that everybody needs to know about. I keep this really simple. I don't go really advanced. Is analytical personality, which they're detail-driven, they're process-driven. Okay. Then you got your amiable. Amiable personality is always like, are you sure this is okay? Hey, let me check with my brother to make sure I'm making the right deal. They're very warm. In that personality, you got to be it's very fragile. The next one is a driver. A driver personality is to the point, bottom line. When you ask them the question, how long have you been in the business? They'll say 2 years. What got you in the business? I want to make more money. Okay, right off the bat, they're a driver. And the last one is expressive. Expressive are people where you ask them a question and they talk for 3 hours. Have you ever met somebody like that where they talk for 3 hours, you ask them a question? And why this is important is when you ask somebody, a realtor, when you're face-to-face, you start off with how long you've been in the business, what got you in the business. Then you got to get to the 3 most powerful questions in lending. These 3 most powerful questions in lending is going to give you the exact thing that you need to focus on what you can do for them. So these 3 most powerful questions in lending are, what lenders do you currently work with? What do you like about your current lenders? And this last one is very important. We all have something we can change. If there was one thing you could change about your current lender, what would it be? Now, the reason that becomes important is, the reason that is important is because realtors don't leave their existing loan officers for more of the same. Meaning that if you go into this appointment where I got great rates, I got great rates, great rates, and they're like, hey, I already work with the loan officer that gives me great rates. Why would they use you? But when you ask that last question, we all have something we could change. If there was one thing you can change about your current lender, what would it be? It might say something to this effect. My lender's great. He closes my deals. My only challenge I have with him is he only calls me when I have a deal. Oh, I have to call him. That's the only time we talk. You're like, great. So now you go, look, the way I work is I follow up twice a week. I give you a call regardless whether we have a deal or not. Now you give them a reason to try you out. But you don't start speaking about what you can do until you get an answer to that question. And once you have that answer, that is your whole focus of that meeting. Because if you focus all your energy on that particular thing that they're missing, you give yourself the best opportunity to get business.
Awesome. And I'm typing these questions in, guys, just so you have them in the Q&A. And you guys, by the way, you should be able to cut and paste this out and paste it in. But Sam, I know you guys have those drafted, and we can certainly send that as a resource.
Yeah, and just so you know, these are not something like, hey, these are great scripts. Hey, these are great questions. Go try them. No. We've taken undercover cameras to appointments to show how powerful these questions are and how powerful you can get somebody to go ahead and give you business. So everything we talk about here has been done live. So when they're done live, there's no, a few years ago, I challenged everybody. I go, let's go to an area where no one's done business, and let's go ahead and try to see who can generate those appointments and generate the business fastest. Obviously, no one took me up on it, but these things really work if you really do it. The problem is most people don't do it because they don't see the value in it. It's much easier to say, hey, I need to have these, I'm going to buy this mailing system that I'm going to mail something every single week until I get business. But that stuff doesn't work as efficiently as knowing what to say and how to say it to get someone to build rapport and give you business. So, next question.
All right. So it kind of dovetails to that question, but the question was asked by Paula. Sam, how have you pinpointed what is the most effective thing to say to a top producer to persuade them to use you? What's most important to them is the question.
Yeah, it's great. there's two things. One is obviously you find what's missing, but the other part is you got to be exciting, and you can't be boring. Most loan officers are boring, and they're really boring. I know a lot of them, and when I say boring, is that there's no enthusiasm. It's very cut and dry. And it doesn't work that way. You need to have, to be outstanding, you have to stand out from everybody else. So you have to have enthusiasm, you have to have energy. So people are like, I was dropped in a primary Hispanic area where 90% of the business that I did was Spanish only. And I don't speak Spanish and I'm not Hispanic. But they always ask, other loan officers always ask agents, why did you use Sam? So when I'm around Sam, I feel energetic, I feel excited, he's just positive energy. So you've got to be able to have some enthusiasm, some energy, that piece of it. And then obviously you have to find what's missing in their life. But if you're just going at it, it's just being very conservative, very monotone, and boring, as I call it, you're not going to build a connection with a lot of big producers because you need to stand out from the rest of them. And then let me tell you, if you have enthusiasm and you're excited, you're positive, you're like the 5% difference, and 95% of the loan officers are not that way. You'll be the 5%. So that'll be a good way to start off with it.
Absolutely. There's one other question in here, Sam, that I'd like you to address real quickly, but just before I do that, one of the things that we work on with a lot of our coaching clients, and I know, Sam, you and I have talked about this many times before, the practical reality is also if you can find an edge that is a way of elevating yourself beyond the value of one transaction. I know realtors have a tendency to put us in a box or pigeonhole us or typecast us into this mindset of looking at us as a vendor. But if you can elevate the quality of that partnership and relationship beyond the ability to just get one deal done and talk about how to create synergy and work together in a collaborative environment to get more deals done and make a bigger difference in the community, that can be substantially powerful as well. At the end of the day, when everybody else is promising great rates and service, and we're talking about not just being the guy who gets their deals done, but the guy who also will help them get a lot more deals, it can transform that relationship as well.
Yeah, I think that's very powerful, but I think most realtors, you're only good as your last deal. And we do all this stuff to get the opportunity to do business. And I think where loan officers sell themselves short is that when they take in tough deals, they need to let everybody know that this deal is really, really tough. And this deal is so hard that you're going to pull every string in the book. You got to call corporate. You're going to do everything you can to get it through because now you get all the rewards. The problem is most loan officers, even on the tough deals, are going, this is slam dunk. I got it. Send it over. I'm going to close it. And they get no value for how hard this deal was. And unfortunately, in our business, you screw up a deal, end of the day, the realtor's thinking, I didn't get paid. And I didn't get paid means you didn't help me make my mortgage payment this month. So you're out. So you always want to take those relationships a lot deeper. But my suggestion is only this, is that if you do tough deals, make them even tougher in their heads, in the realtor's head, because then you get all the glory after you close it, because they're like, oh my God, this was so close, because they feel the pressure with you because they know that this is a tough deal. And if you're doing an easy deal, do a great job, close it, and really focus on not doing a deal that you know you can't close. Just focus on deals that you could do. And sometimes you got to take those risks. That's all part of the business. But be smart with it. And as you grow your relationship with the realtors, you got to understand is that end of the day, you still got to be a good loan officer and you still got to close deals. And if you can't do that, you're going to basically prospect, get new agent. New agent thinks your service is terrible, falls apart. You got to prospect again. You're always going to be in a revolving door, and you don't want that.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the prerequisite. If we can't do that at a minimum, we nor anybody else deserve their business. So, that is a foundational element of it. First and foremost is making sure you're getting that deal done and giving them accurate and upfront information about what deals we really can't do as well. Under promise, over deliver is kind of the name of the game here. All right, one other quick question, and then I know we've got some important information to share here that Sam and I will be talking about. Obviously, there's many, many great questions here about how to get access to more information, questions about in-person versus, versus pop-by or drop-in visit prospecting methods. Sam, why don't you really quickly address, what are your thoughts and opinions on kind of that drop-in visit, going out and knocking on doors and doing walk-in visits?
Yeah, I think better than doing nothing. A lot of these real estate functions that happen, different events, mixers, cocktails, there's so many different events that happen every day. This is a strategy that I used, and the strategy was simple. I would go to these events in the beginning. I would network. I know the agents that I want to meet, and I would get their business card, and I'll let them know, hey, I'm going to call you tomorrow, and we're going to set up a meeting. Are you okay with that? And then I would walk out, because I know after that hour and a half in the beginning, everyone's drinking. It's not going to be very productive for anybody. I'm not going to be any stronger in anyone's eyes. It's not going to be like, hey, I need to go use Sam. I just basically go in, go out. So walk-in real estate offices is better than doing nothing. Is it really efficient? Depending where you're at. If you got no business, walk in every real estate office, every open house, whatever you can do, because you got to create, there's a law of the universe, and the law of the universe is the law of action. For every action, there's a reaction. So if you create massive action, you're going to have a massive reaction. So if you got no business, walk in every real estate office, walk in every open house, do whatever it takes. If you got a lot of business, then you got to be more efficient. Then you got to block out your time. You got to prospect over the phone. And even if you meet people in a real estate office, it's really interesting how this game works in a real estate office. Let's say you do office meetings at real estate offices. Don't put your flyer on everyone's desk. Okay? People do that all the time. It's the most annoying thing. Because when you put your flyer on everyone's desk, what that tells everybody is that you're not very efficient, and your value isn't that high. I wouldn't even give my business card to everybody in that office. If I have realtors that I haven't done business with, the only way they get a business card from me is say, look, John, great job this year. You're doing fantastic. Your numbers look good. I want to meet with you for 10 minutes to see if I could be a good fit for your business. What day are you open? And he goes, all right, let me see. Maybe I'm open next week. Good. Here's my business card. Otherwise, no business card. See, the business card today has no value. And the reason it has no value is because everybody throws that business card everywhere. Don't give them the business. Remember, if you want to be outstanding, stand out from everybody else.
Awesome, awesome. Well, guys, we could certainly go on all day with these questions, and there's a ton of great questions coming through here. And by the way, I want to encourage you to continue to post them, because either Sam's team or I, or the team here at Maximum Acceleration, we want to make sure that we address all the questions that you guys have. There's a couple of things that I want to make sure we address here real quick. Yeah, definitely. Well, that's exactly where I was going with all of that. Sam and I have worked together, and Sam and his team have put together a great event. And for many of you, all of you asking the question about how do you get this in-depth detailed training? Where do you get the language patterns and the scripts and all those kind of things? A couple of places you could get it. One is go to loforce.com and become a member of their group coaching program. They have an awesome program available. Sam walks through on a weekly conference call how to actually use these different strategies and scripts, what are the issues and concerns of the market, and what do you need the most help with. Beyond that, they put together a power-packed one-day event. It's actually really going to be about a 1.5-day event by the time we're all done with this thing, I'm sure. But December 11th in Las Vegas at the Encore Hotel, connected to the Wynn, from 8:30 to 5 is a power-packed day of training going really deep. Sam is going to walk the entire group through the language patterns, the scripts, the conversation strategies, and the approach strategies, how to effectively prospect, calling it Prospecting School, focusing on mindset, skills, and action, as well as building a bonus business plan in conjunction with us here at Maximum Acceleration. We're going to be helping out with that as well. Early bird registration is only $199 through November 20th. Of course, after that, it will be $299 from November 21st to December 5th. Of course, regular price or at-the-door price will be $399. And keep in mind, that does include lunch. And I guarantee you, from having been to a couple of Sam's events before, it will be a engaged working lunch. You're going to get a ton of information. There's also going to be an informal welcome reception and Q&A meeting that you'll have the opportunity to attend December evening. But we've put it together and added one additional piece to this opportunity, which is that we are actually going to be doing, for those of you, and by the way, we have to strictly limit this to the first 50, but Sam and I are going to be doing a special bonus VIP invitation-only mastermind session earlier that afternoon on December 10th. We'll work out the exact timing we put you for, check for your details on your invitation. But for the first 50 who register for the conference, if you go ahead and go to the shopping cart, and by the way, if you want to go ahead and register for the program, all you need to do is go to loforce.com/events. At the bottom of the page, there's a Buy Now button. It is register through PayPal, so you can use your PayPal account or any of the Visa credit or debit cards, MasterCard, American Express, whatever else you've got in your wallet you want to use for this. You can register for that event. Again, the first 50 people who sign up, and we have several hundred on today's webinar, so those of you who are going to reward taking action, there's limited space and availability for this. So like I said, really, we're going to have to cut it off right at 50 because of higher code restrictions and all that. But if you really do want to get some hands-on, one-on-one, small group interaction with Sam and I and really get detailed answers to your questions prior to the event on December 10th, early that afternoon, we're going to do a special 2-hour bonus VIP invitation-only mastermind session. When you register, at the very bottom of the shopping cart on the PayPal page, there's an option to add special instructions. Just request the special max bonus session. In the bottom, of course, many of you are going to go ahead and register and will actually not be able to attend, but that at least allows them to, the shopping cart will timestamp those registrations for us, and the first 50 to go ahead and jump on board and take advantage of this opportunity today are going to be able to get access to that special VIP session. Like I said, the website you go to, loforce.com/events. Again, it's only $199 for a full day networking and training event where we're going to go very deep on the specific patterns. Sam is going to give us hands-on training, guidance, and support as to how to utilize that system and how to use these to create massive results in a minimum period of time when it comes to prospecting. So make sure you go ahead and take advantage of that. I mean, think about it. What's your return on investment? You get one appointment with one agent by using these skills. How many loans is that worth to a year, and what kind of return on a $200 ticket are you going to get from just one agent that's worth a deal every other month? Now, I mean, you obviously don't learn it just for that purpose, but you're looking at a couple thousand times return on investment if you take advantage of that. All right, other opportunities for more detailed information. Of course, many of you asked, what is maximum acceleration? What do we do? If this is your first time on a webinar here as part of the Maximum Performance Series, we basically offer 3 different levels of service: group and home study interactions with programs like SAM and the loforce.com system, the group on-site coaching programs, and one-on-one personal coaching that we do in conjunction. The other thing that we offer, actually I take that back, I'm going to advance over this really, really quickly. Bear with me 2 seconds. For those of you who are interested in more information about the LO Group Coaching Program and the loforce.com integrated program, one of the best ways we've found to find out the true value of coaching is actually to experience it. You're welcome to participate in that by taking advantage of what we call our strategy session, which is a no-cost, no-obligation one-on-one coaching experience with one of our certified coaches who are also trained on the SPL and neuro-linguistic programming system that Sam teaches through loforce.com. If you're interested in finding out more about the loforce.com one-on-one coaching program or group coaching programs, you're welcome to participate in one of those no-cost, no-obligation strategy sessions. Simply take a few seconds and go to the amexcelcoach.com/strategy page, and you can go ahead and type in the information that we need to be able to schedule one of those appointments. Either that, or you are welcome to go ahead and post just directly in the Q&A that you're curious about and want more information on, either the live event in Las Vegas on December 11th, directly in the Q&A section of the platform, or if you want to take advantage of one of these strategy sessions, again, those are filled on a first-come, first-served basis. We only have a handful of those sessions available each week, which is why we fill them that way. So if you want to just go ahead and post the best name and email address for us to contact you for scheduling of one of those one-on-one appointments, go ahead and do so in the Q&A at this time. All right, last thing just before we go ahead and close out the webinar platform, and Sam, I want to give you one last opportunity just to share any final thoughts with the group. A quick heads up, next week we have the program Relationship Mastery, how to build a transformational value business and service-driven business with Mr. Stan Wong out of Arizona, who's also the founder of Premier Mortgage Network, is going to be sharing how he built a business that he's run over 30 years worth of experience and skill, having produced well over 20,000 loan closings in his career, what he's learned about the keys to building a sustainable and perpetuating relationship-driven, service-driven business. He'll be sharing with us next week on the webinar. Last thing first is take action with the ideas. Sam has shared a plethora of information and value in today's program. He's introduced you to some very powerful language patterns that you can use to significantly improve your results when it comes to prospecting agents and getting new appointments with top producing agents, and take advantage of the opportunity to do something with these ideas. So ask yourself these 3 or 4 quick questions just before you hang up, before you grab that next phone call, before you check that next email or respond to that next email. Take just a few seconds to ask yourself these 4 questions. 1, what was the most valuable thing you heard in today's program? 2, what action do you need to take to make that a part of your daily business? And probably one of the best suggestions I could make for you is go ahead and make the commitment. Come on out to Las Vegas on December 11th. Hang out with the crew at loforce.com and Sam and myself and learn just in a really enriched environment, full immersion learning experience, these key patterns. So make the plan to make the commitment. Go ahead and get your ticket while you can get the best possible pricing and take advantage of that bonus VIP invitation-only mastermind session that Sam and I are going to be doing earlier that afternoon on December 10th. Maybe that is the next most important action for you to take. 3rd, decide when you're going to make that action happen. Put a specific target date on it. And then, of course, 4 is find out or decide who is going to be your accountability partner in making sure you implement that plan. Now, back in 1998, Brigham Young University did a research study on what it really took to take ideas and make sure they got implemented. And they came up with 4 key findings in that study. What are the 4 key things to turning ideas into implemented action? And those 4 things are basically, 1, have a plan. 2, have a written step-by-step plan for achieving that goal. Have a goal. 2 is have a plan to achieve that goal specifically. 3, set a target for completing that goal. And 4, find an accountability partner to check progress with you regularly and hold you accountable to that follow-through. You do those 4 things, you'll create a 95% chance of following through on your ideas. So based on whatever you've learned from this experience, maybe the idea of building a target list of agents and making sure that you're setting aside time to prospect effectively, as Sam has introduced you to in today's program. Getting a hold of the access information and the key language patterns that Sam has to share with you by coming out to the Vegas event would be one of the key action steps in completing that goal. Setting the target date for completion, and then find somebody, I don't care whether it's a spouse, a colleague, a boss, or a mentor, find somebody, tell them what you're going to be doing, by when you're going to be doing it, and ask them to hold you accountable to following through. They'll have a 95% or better chance of completing that action item. That being said, Sam, any final thoughts, comments, or suggestions to our audience here today?
No, I look forward to seeing everybody in Vegas, and just remember that we're also going to do a business plan, detailed business plan for everybody to attend, and that will be your 2015 plan. So most loan officers won't even do a business plan this year. They'll do it next year, try to do it next year, and it won't even happen. But this event, one of the things that we are doing is make sure that everyone walks out with a business plan for 2015, using psychology to be a motivator for you to make sure you do the things that you say you're going to do, and not just put it on paper, and then basically a few months down the line you forget about doing all those things. So I look forward to seeing everyone there. Encore, a beautiful hotel, amazing spa. So it's a one-day event. The night before, there'll be a cocktail little event for a couple hours. But I look forward to seeing everyone there. So have a great day. Talk to you guys soon.
Definitely, guys. And don't forget that we do have that VIP session available for Sam and I, the masterminding session with Sam and I for the first 50 who go ahead and register. Again, make sure you make a comment down on the final screen of the registration page. Once you put in your credit card or payment information, open up the special instructions, type in that special max bonus session, and that'll get you your ticket, or at least get you in the drawing for the ticket. Again, the first 50 to respond are going to be the ones who are selected and invited to attend that special VIP session. Like I said, $199. Where else can you get the kind of return you're going to get from a one-day intensive training like this, learning the key patterns that you need to be able to create that I don't know what your probabilities of success are, Sam, but I know your performance results are amazing as far as what kind of, what are your typical call ratios?
I mean, depending on where
I know your ratios are amazing,
but I think typically for a loan officer that really focuses every 100 calls that you make, you're probably, if you make 100 calls, you're probably somewhere in the neighborhood of 7% if you do it well, and we're talking about appointments.
Yeah, definitely.
But, that's something that everyone's going to be a little bit different depending on how well that they can handle the objections, because objections everyone's going to get. It's a question of what they say and how they say it. It always comes down to that. So.
Right. And these specific language patterns that are based on and Sam, I don't know about you guys, but when I got into business, one of the first things I struggled with was handling objections. And one of the first questions, young enough, dumb enough, stupid enough, whatever you want to call it, or maybe just smart enough, I asked the question, who is the guy who really has studied this, who's modeled it, who's test piloted it across hundreds of clients? And Sam was one of the first people that I found that really taught the brass tacks, runway level, tactical language patterns with all of the psychology of influence and the subliminal conversation with their subconscious mind implanted. And that's what you're going to learn at this event.
Erik, I'll share one of the toughest calls that I did, which was up in San Jose. And the reason this call was tough was because the lady that got on, she started the conversation, yeah, I'm already happy with my lender. I don't need any other lender. I don't want to deal with anybody else. I'm okay. And it was really interesting. I go, do you remember your first listing appointment that you went to? She goes, yeah, I remember that. I said, do you remember how you felt? You just wanted the seller to give you 10 minutes of your time, just give you an opportunity to list his house. What did you feel? She goes, I felt a little scared. I felt a little nervous. I said, that's how I feel contacting you right now. I just want 10 minutes to just an opportunity. And we might decide we might not be a good fit for each other. But I just want that same chance, the same way you wanted it with your first listing when you were trying to get it. And she goes, fine, all right, let's meet. And it happened because I emotionally connected her to the same position that I was in. I connected her when she was in that same position, and she felt that feeling. That's using psychology of getting that appointment. So anyways, I think we've talked about a lot of different things, but I really look forward to seeing everybody in December.
Definitely, guys. Well, Sam, I know you got to jump, as do I. We are going to have to wrap this one up. It's close to on time here because I've got another meeting I've got to jump to as well myself. So, folks, just a quick reminder, take the time. Knowledge without action is useless. Knowledge only becomes valuable when you implement it in your business. So take these last couple of seconds here before you answer that next phone call or before you pop onto that next email and hit reply and just create your follow-up plan for what you've learned today and how you're going to implement it. come on out to the Vegas event and learn these specific patterns that Sam is going to share with you that are going to dramatically impact your conversion ratio with getting appointments with top agents, and do what Sam just demonstrated for you here as to how he was able to convert that. And keep in mind that happened live, real time, while Sam was on stage. I was actually there for that one, and that was watching your face was pretty amazing. Anyway, guys, if there's anything else myself or the rest of the team here can do at Maximum Acceleration to help or support you in your business growth, please don't hesitate to ask, reach out to us. We'd love to get you connected to the tool systems and strategies that are going to make a difference in the growth of your business and really help you take it to a whole other level. Because our only goal is helping you get from where you are to where you want to go as fast as humanly possible. And we would enjoy the opportunity to have a conversation with you about that. Again, last call here for anybody who wants to go ahead and register for the program and have the best opportunity of getting a ticket to that special VIP mastermind session with Sam and I. Go ahead and get it posted here in the Q&A session, and go ahead and hop on that lforce.com/events website and get registered. Otherwise, we will leave the Q&A platform open here for just a few more minutes we will leave that platform open here for just a few more minutes for folks to be able to take advantage of being able to post any additional questions or comments you have, or if you'd like to take advantage of one of those no cost, no obligation strategy sessions to get some help and support on what you need to experience or what's going to make a difference in your growth and implementation curve. Feel free to go ahead and post that in the Q&A. Otherwise, I'm going to go